shouldn't be here. The night in Los Angeles is never truly dark. The dull yellow glow from auto shops washes over everything, making it feel even colder, more deserted. I was crouching behind a rusted dumpster in a narrow alley, 3 blocks away from my Lexus. I was watching my housemaid. My name is David Rosenfeld. I'm 43 years old, CEO of a $970 million real estate investment firm. Jewish, born in Brooklyn, raised in a tightly observant community. But I've always had a different kind of faith. Control. And right now, I was losing control. Her name is Sarina Mahadevi. She'd only been working for me for 3 months, but something about her made it impossible to look away. She was from Iran, a Sunni Muslim, soft-spoken, fast on her feet, always reserved. She never took off her hijab, not even when it was just the 2 of us alone in the house. But what truly caught my attention wasn't her modesty. It was those rare moments when something else slipped through. The way she looked at me like she knew more than she let on, the way she moved like a panther pretending to be a house cat. And tonight, I followed her. She told me she was heading back to her boarding house in El Monte, but the security camera at the gate had caught a different Uber picking her up, one headed toward Boyle Heights, a neighborhood flagged for religious extremism and violent crime. Why lie? I pulled my hoodie low over my head, crossed the street, and crept closer to the building she had just entered. A rundown 3-story walk-up, peeling paint, no doorbell. I glanced at my watch, 9:47 p.m. Suddenly, a light flicked on in a second-floor window. I froze. A shadow moved into view. Sarina. She had her back to me, but what was she doing? I held my breath as I watched her remove her headscarf. For the first time, her long dark hair spilled down her bare back in soft waves. She was undressing. Each layer she peeled away made my pulse pound harder. She didn't know someone was watching, or maybe she did, and didn't care. Her body, pale, full breasts, slim waist, hips like a dancer, left me frozen, breathless. But then, my eyes caught something small but terrifying. Ink. Just beneath her left shoulder blade, an Arabic tattoo. Al-Haq, the truth. Why would a devout Muslim woman have a tattoo? And why that word? She bent down to put on something black when the door suddenly opened. An older man stepped inside. Gray beard, white robe. He hugged her like a father would, except his hands slid too low, too familiar. Then he whispered something in Farsi. I didn't catch all of it, but I recognized 2 words: Yahudi, Jew, and Hazf, eliminate. A chill shot through me. Were they talking about me? She nodded, whispered something back, her fingers brushing the hem of his robe. He handed her something. Small, black, shiny. A gun? They left the room, and I stood frozen in the shadows. Was I the target? Who was she? Why did she come into my life? I didn't know. I couldn't sleep that entire night. Images of Sarina kept flashing through my mind, her slowly unraveling layers of fabric, her body as if sculpted by God himself. But it wasn't her nakedness that haunted me most. It was the way she tilted her head and looked at that man. That look in her eyes held something more dangerous than desire. The next morning, I acted like nothing happened. Sarina walked into the villa at exactly 6:58 a.m., punctual as ever. She wore a beige, long-sleeved tunic, a dark headscarf, and greeted me in her usual soft, polite voice. "Good morning, sir. I'll start breakfast right away." I glanced at her over the rim of my espresso cup, trying to hide the storm behind my eyes. Last night, she'd been someone else, sensual, secretive, possibly lethal, but now she was delicately peeling an orange for me, like the perfect maid. Was this a mask or the real her? She poured the orange juice, leaning forward just enough for her blouse to part slightly, revealing the curve of her breast beneath a sheer undershirt. I wondered, did she know I was watching, or was she trying to be seen? I sipped my espresso. "You make it back to the boarding house last night?" I asked, casually, like small talk. She paused just for a second. "Yes, I went to bed early, was tired." That tiny pause was all I needed. She was lying. I kept up the polite act through breakfast, but inside, wheels were turning. The moment she headed upstairs to do laundry, I made a call to David Lieberman, a private hacker I'd used before to discreetly erase things, including wiping an ugly divorce off the record last year. "I need you to run a search on someone," I said, sending him a still image from the security camera. Sarina Mahdavi. Lieberman hesitated. "Iranian name? Cerny?" "Yeah, I want everything, by this afternoon." Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I snuck into her room. The staff quarters were behind the main house, modest single rooms. Hers wasn't locked. I stepped inside and immediately sensed there was something off. Too clean, too empty, too perfect. She'd lived here for 3 months and left no trace. I opened her nightstand drawer. A Quran sat neatly inside. I reached to flip through it, then noticed something odd. The fabric cover had a slight bulge. Carefully, I peeled it back. My heart dropped. An SD memory card. I pocketed it, restored everything to how it was, and as I was leaving, I noticed a folded piece of paper wedged behind the dresser. I pulled it out. It was a charcoal sketch of a man engulfed in flames. But what chilled me to the bone was the red ink scribbled underneath. "He worships gold, but he will burn for Zion. I'm Jewish. I invest heavily in real estate in Jerusalem." That line wasn't just some edgy artistic statement. Was she sending a message to someone? Or was it meant for me? I left the room just seconds before Sarina came down the stairs. She gave me a faint smile as she passed, her jasmine perfume trailing behind her like a ghost. "Need something from the utility room?" she asked sweetly, eyes sparkling with innocence. "I'm just checking the water heater," I replied. She nodded and walked on, light as air. At that moment, I knew for certain I was living under the same roof as someone who didn't belong in this world. By late afternoon, Lieberman called me back. His voice didn't carry its usual snark. "David, this girl doesn't exist in any legal U.S. civilian system. But here's the weird part. There's a fingerprint match from Iraq. She was arrested by the U.S. military in 2015, detained at a base in Basra. No one knows why she was released." I gripped the phone tighter. "Do you have a photo?" He said, "Yeah, but you're not going to believe it." He sent it. I opened the image. It was Sarina, in a prison jumpsuit, hair chopped short, face bruised, eyes burning with hate. And standing next to her in the photo was an American soldier. It was me. Why didn't I remember? Had I met her before? Or was she following me ever since? The questions were piling up, and every single one led back to her, to Sarina. I don't sleep. Again. This time it's not lust or confusion. It's fear. If that photo is real and she was in Basra and I was there, then my past has caught up with me in ways I never imagined. I served one classified rotation in Iraq in 2015, right before I resigned my military commission and transitioned fully into the private sector. It was messy, covert, and completely buried. And if she was involved, then someone dug it up. I stare at the image on my phone again. Sarina, shackled, bruised, staring straight at the camera like she could set it on fire with her eyes. And there I am, younger, in uniform, with a smirk that I used to think made me look invincible, but now it just makes me feel exposed. Did I hurt her back then? Did I know her? Did I forget her? And worse, did she never forget me? The next morning, I pretend everything is normal. That's always been my greatest skill, masking. She brings me coffee, just how I like it. Black, no sugar, French roast. "Did you sleep well, Mr. Rosenfeld?" she asks, with a voice as soft as silk, her hijab perfectly wrapped. "Barely," I answer, watching her lips as they curve into a knowing smile. She doesn't press, she never does. She's too smart for that. At 10:30 a.m., I accidentally bump into her in the hallway leading to the guest library. She's carrying a tray of folded linens. I grab her arm, not hard, just enough to startle. "Sarina, can we talk?" She tilts her head just slightly. "Of course." "Not here," I whisper. "Upstairs." She follows me in silence to my office. It's quiet, glass-walled, soundproofed. She stands by the desk, still holding the linens, her posture perfectly calm. I shut the door, lock it. I circle her like a panther stalking prey, but I'm not sure which one of us is the hunter anymore. "You've been here for 3 months," I begin. "You've been perfect, polite, precise." "Thank you," she says calmly, though there's a flicker in her eyes, almost like amusement. "But last night," I continue, stepping closer, "you went somewhere you shouldn't have. You met someone. You lied to me." Her mouth parts just barely. "Are you following me, Mr. Rosenfeld?" That's not an answer. It's a better question. What were you hoping to find? That stops me. I look into her eyes, deep pools of black honey, and I see the shimmer of something dangerous. Not fear, not shame, but power. "Who are you, Sarina, really?" I ask, voice low. She puts the linens down on the desk and walks toward me, slowly, deliberately. Her breath carries the scent of jasmine and cardamom. "Would you believe me if I said I don't know anymore?" My pulse spikes. She's close now. Her hand brushes my wrist. My body reacts before my brain can scream, "Don't." Then she leans in. Her breath is hot against my neck. "You ask who I am, but maybe the real question is, who were you in Basra?" My chest tightens. "You remember me." She pulls back slightly, just enough for me to see her smile. "I remember everything." Her fingers trail down my shirt. I grab her wrist, not to stop her, but because I'm terrified of how badly I want this. "Sarina, what do you want from me?" I growl. She looks me dead in the eye. "I don't want your money. I don't want your house. I don't even want your guilt." She leans in again. Her lips brush mine, feather light. "I want your truth." Then she walks out. By noon, I've gone through every classified file I still have access to from my military days. The Basra raid, Operation Silent Brimstone. We captured several radical elements suspected of funding Sunni extremists in Tehran through crypto channels. But there was one name that keeps coming up in redacted documents. Farah Mahdavi. Not Sarina. Farah was only 19 then. Arrested during a sting operation. No formal charges, no legal records. She disappeared after 3 weeks. No intel on how or why. Could they be the same person? Back in the office, I check the guest room hallway camera feed. It's been wiped. I call Lieberman again. I need facial recognition analysis. Compare Sarina Mahadavi with Farah Mahadavi. Scrub everything. He says, already ahead of you. David, you're not going to like this. He sends me a file. It's her. It's always been her. Only now I see it. Her face sharper, younger, with fury burning fervor eyes like gasoline lit in a mosque. And one line from the report makes my blood run cold. Subject held extensive knowledge of American targets. Refused to speak under interrogation. Last words recorded. One day he'll be at my mercy. I pour myself scotch. I should fire her. I should call Homeland Security. I should something. But instead, I replay her whisper again and again in my head. I want your truth. What the fuck did I do to her in Basra? And what the hell is she planning to do to me now? It's 2:17 a.m., and I'm lying in bed, drenched in sweat. Sheets tangled around me like restraints. The lights are off, but my mind won't stop playing back her words. I remember everything. The images come in flashes, desert heat, barbed wire, the echo of gunfire through the narrow alleyways of Basra, and her. But in my memories, her face isn't fully formed, just fragments, eyes that wouldn't blink under interrogation, a mouth that stayed shut no matter what we threatened. I hadn't touched her. I don't touch prisoners. But I remember the other men, not what they did, but the jokes they made after. Was she one of them? Did I look the other way? And now she's here, in my house, walking freely through the very halls I once designed as a sanctuary, cooking in my kitchen, sleeping beneath my roof, wearing my daughter's scarf. The next morning, I wait for her. She comes down the marble staircase wearing a pale blue blouse and white trousers, classy, elegant, and modest like always. But I notice something new. Her hijab is the same silk I bought my daughter for her 16th birthday. Sarina must have found it in the guest storage. That's not a mistake. It's a message. You look beautiful, I say, too evenly. Thank you, she replies with a smile, pouring my coffee without missing a beat. We eat breakfast like it's any normal day. Toast, orange marmalade, sliced figs, quiet jazz in the background. But every moment is a game now. One wrong word, one slip, and this whole house will turn into a battlefield. I study her hands, long fingers, no rings, no tremors. The way she holds the knife, precise, confident, controlled. Just like I imagined she held a weapon. After she clears the table, I follow her up the back stairs to the laundry room. She doesn't hear me, or pretends not to. I slip in and close the door behind me. I want answers, I say quietly. She turns slowly, folding a bedsheet like we're still playing pretend. About what? Basra, that photo. Who you really are, and what the hell you're doing in my house. She exhales slowly, eyes narrowing. I was born in Shiraz. My father was a scholar, my mother a seamstress. When I was 14, American bombs flattened our neighbor's home. My cousin was inside. When I was 18, I followed a man who promised purpose. I ended up in Basra, in chains, in front of you. I flinch. The air between us sharpens like glass. I didn't touch you, I say. No, she replies, but you watched. A beat of silence. I never forgot your eyes, cold, detached. You didn't need to hurt me. You approved of it. You let it happen. My throat tightens. I don't remember. I do. Her voice hardens. You left me in that cell for 13 days. I bled on concrete. I begged for a blanket. You were the officer who turned off the light. I want to deny it, scream that it wasn't me, that it wasn't my choice, but deep down, I know. I may not remember her exactly, but I remember the orders, the way we categorized prisoners as talkers or tools, how we convinced ourselves the ends justified the means. I'd buried that man years ago, but now she's exhumed him. I walk to her, slowly, deliberately. So this is revenge, I whisper. You infiltrate my life, smile in my face, wear my daughter's scarf, cook my food, and wait for the perfect time to strike? She didn't come to strike, she says. Then why? She steps closer, inches away. Because I needed you to see me, not as the maid, not as the Muslim, not as the refugee, as the woman you erased. Her hand lifts, tracing my chest. My body betrays me again. Heat surges through my spine. Her breath is on my throat. Her lips hover near mine. You want me, don't you? She murmurs, even now, even knowing what I am, what I've done. I don't answer. I can't. She presses her body to mine. I feel every curve, every truth hidden beneath her veil. You're a sick man, Mr. Rosenfeld. I grab her wrist. You seduced me. No, I mirrored you. We stare at each other, breathless. I want to throw her against the wall. I want to apologize. I want to tear the hijab from her head and kiss the scar beneath it. I want to destroy her and save her in the same breath. And maybe she wants the same. That night, I wake to a strange noise, a whisper of movement down the hall. I grab the Glock from my drawer and move barefoot, slow. The guest library light is on. I ease the door open. She's there, sitting on the floor in front of my old vinyl player, listening to Leonard Cohen, You Want It Darker. She doesn't turn. She knows I'm behind her. She says nothing, just leans back on her hands, head tilted slightly, as if asking me a silent question. Am I ready to hear her truth? Or will I keep pretending this is about sex or power or guilt? I step inside. She finally speaks. You asked what I wanted. I nod, barely breathing. I want you to remember what you are. Not the billionaire, not the hero, just the man who shut off the light and walked away. She turns her head, eyes burning. I want you to see what happens when the light comes back on. For 3 days, she acts like nothing happened. She cooks. She cleans. She hums traditional Persian melodies under her breath, soft and haunting. She tends to the roses outside the kitchen window like she's never dug into my past, like she didn't whisper those words that have lodged into my bones like splinters. I want you to see what happens when the light comes back on. It's torture. Every time I see her move, slow and graceful, my mind flickers between guilt, lust, and rage. The way she folds my clothes, the way she looks at my daughter's photo when she thinks I'm not watching, the way her hips sway beneath modest cotton skirts like she's not tempting me on purpose. She knows. She knows exactly what she's doing. And I still don't know if I'm the executioner or the one waiting for the blade. On the 4th night, she disappears. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. I call her phone. It goes straight to voicemail. I check the guest room. Clean. Sheets, freshly pressed. Closet, empty. No trace she was ever here. The Quran is still on the nightstand, but the SD card I found before is gone. I search the house. Nothing. I check the cameras. Wiped. Lieberman doesn't answer. That's when I see it, on the floor beneath my desk, half tucked into the rug. An envelope. No name. just sealed with a single smear of deep red wax. Inside, a thumb drive. A photo of my ex-wife holding my daughter's hand at her school gate, and a note in elegant cursive black ink. Do you know what it feels like to be watched every hour, every breath, every sacred thing you believe, violated? There's no signature, just one line at the bottom, written in Farsi. Now you understand. I play the drive on a burner laptop. It's all there. Clips from my security cameras, my bedroom, the shower, the pool, the study. Every time I was alone, vulnerable, touching myself, grieving, drinking, all of it. She saw everything. I shut the lid. My skin crawls. How long has she been watching? How deep did she go? Then I realized this wasn't just about me. The photo of my ex, my daughter. Sarina, or Farah, or whatever her real name is, was never going to hurt me. She wanted me to feel it, the way she felt it in Basra. Violated, helpless, exposed. But why run now? The next morning I get a call from Lieberman. He sounds like he hasn't slept in days. She played me, he says hoarsely. David, she hacked me, turned my own back door on me. She's got my files, my clients, yours. What? She took everything. How the fuck did she? She didn't do it alone, he cuts in. There's a deeper net, and she's just a node. David, this goes way beyond revenge. That's when I remember something she said in the laundry room. I didn't come to strike. Then what the hell was she doing? I pull every string I have, every asset. I call in favors I swore I'd never cash. By nightfall, I have 2 facts. 1, she was spotted leaving LA via a private car headed north on the 101. 2, she used one of my security firm's burner accounts to book it. She didn't run. She vanished on my dime. That's not an escape. It's a trap. That night I return home to a dark house. I pour a glass of bourbon and stare at my reflection in the window. I see someone else now. Not the polished CEO, not the charming philanthropist. No, I see the man who stood in a military uniform and looked the other way while a girl was stripped of her humanity. And I realize something that punches through me harder than guilt ever could. I want her back. Not just to stop her, not just to protect my name or my money or my daughter, but because I'm not finished. I need to face her. I need to submit to her truth and make her face mine, even if it kills me. I call in old contact from my Army days. Guy named Mercer now runs a private intel unit operating in the gray. I give him one order. Find her. I don't care what it takes. Don't touch her. Just tell me where she's going. He agrees. 3 hours later, he calls back. She's heading east. Idaho, then Utah. Her burner phone just pinged outside a compound we've been watching. Sufi-adjacent Sunni cells. Not violent, but not exactly tourists either. She's going home, I whisper. To what? I down the bourbon and hang up. There's only one way this ends now. I pack light, black cashmere, Glock in holster, and a single photo of her in my pocket. Not the prison photo. The one from last week, where she's in my kitchen, smiling as she stirs saffron rice, eyes soft, hijab a deep royal blue. The version of her that could have been real. I'm coming for you, Sarina. Not to punish you, not to forgive you, but to look you in the eye and finally answer the question you've been asking from the beginning. What kind of man am I when the lights are on? I find her in the middle of nowhere. a farmhouse tucked into the side of a hill outside Moab, Utah, 2 hours from any major airport, 3 from cell reception. The landscape is as dry and cracked as my conscience. Red sandstone cliffs watching from above like ancient judges. There's a single gravel road leading up to the house, and I take it slow, dust trailing behind me like smoke. My rental car crunches to a stop beneath a canopy of trees. I don't know what I expected. Barbed wire? Armed guards? A sniper on the roof? But it's quiet. Too quiet. I exit the car, pulse steady, hand on my hip where the Glock waits. My boots touch red dirt. Then the front door creaks open. She steps out wearing a long white robe. No hijab, hair unbound, catching the wind like black silk. She looks older. Or maybe I'm just seeing her fully for the first time. She's barefoot. She's not surprised. "I knew you would come," she says. We stand in silence for a moment, 2 ghosts meeting at the crossroads. "You disappeared," I say finally. "You had to feel it. The watching, the losing, the not knowing." I nod. I felt it. Her eyes search mine. And I now understand why you came into my house, why you smiled in my face and fed me saffron while planning how to break me from the inside out. That was never the plan. No? Then what was? She walks down the porch steps toward me, slow, deliberate, robe brushing her ankles. The wind picks up. I smelled jasmine. "I wanted you to see what it feels like, to live in a world where you're never safe, where the people who claim to protect you are the ones who bury you." She stops inches away. "You were my nightmare once." I want to speak, but my throat closes. She steps closer still. Her fingers trail up my arm. Her voice is barely above a whisper. "But you also saved me." The farmhouse is simple: wooden beams, worn rugs, candles instead of electricity, no photos on the wall, just verses from the Quran painted in delicate Farsi strokes. We sit across from each other on floor cushions. "I didn't know," I finally say. "Not really. I didn't understand what was happening in that room. I was young, trained to obey. I thought I was protecting lives." She sips tea, her eyes never leaving mine. "You were protecting a system." I nod. "Maybe." Then I look at her. "Why didn't you kill me?" She laughs, quiet and bitter. "Because part of me wanted you to look me in the eye and remember. Not just me, but the others, the children, the sisters, the mothers, all of us left behind." A tear slips down her cheek and she wipes it away without shame. "But you surprised me." "How?" "You saw me." That night I stay. There's no sex, no seduction, just quiet. We lie on opposite sides of the same mattress, fully clothed, facing each other in the dark. "I used to dream of burning your house down," she says into the silence. "I used to dream of having you on my desk." She smirks. "Men are simple." "I didn't say it was just sex." "No? No. I wanted to own you, not just your body, your story, your pain." She's silent. "Now, I just want to give it back." She turns to face me fully. "Then give me this one night. No lies, no weapons, just truth." The truth comes like a storm. We talk until the moon is high and the wind howls against the windows. She tells me how she was recruited at 17, radicalized by an older brother she trusted, how she saw friends blown apart by drone strikes, how she crossed borders under fake names, lived in the shadows and trusted no one until she saw me again. "You were everywhere," she says, "on business magazines, news clips, TED Talks, like you'd never seen war." I buried it. And I dug it up. I closed my eyes. I deserved it. "Maybe," she says, but you didn't deserve to die. At dawn, she walks me to the car. I'm tired, raw, hollowed out. She hands me a flash drive. Everything I took from you is on here. Your files, your secrets, your accounts. Unlocked. Why? I ask. Because I got what I needed. And what was that? She smiles, but it's not cruel this time. Closure. I take the drive, fingers brushing hers. What happens now? I ask. You go back to your empire. And you? I go back to mine. She turns to walk away, but I call out after her. Sarina! She looks back. I'm not the same man you met in Basra. She nods once. I know. And then she's gone. As I drive back through the desert, I feel something lift off my chest. Maybe not forgiveness, but truth. And somehow that's heavier and more freeing than anything I've ever known. Back in Los Angeles, my world feels off. The city still hums with money, ambition, and surface-level smiles, but I walk through it like a man who left something in the desert, something essential, something I can't get back. I step into my office tower, Rosenfeld Holdings, a glass and steel monolith in downtown, surrounded by people who would kill to sit at my table, but who will never know the weight of a whispered name in the dark. Sarina. No, not Sarina. Farah. She gave me that name at the edge of sunrise, as we stood between nothing and nowhere. Farah means joy, she said. Did you ever feel it? I asked. She smiled. Not until I saw you break. Lieberman calls 2 days after I'm back. She wiped your traces from the darknet, he says, half in awe, half in disbelief. It's like you never existed in the shadows. I gave her back everything, I say flatly. Why? Because she's not who we thought. Lieberman pauses. You miss her, don't you? I don't answer. Because, yes, I do. Not just her body. God knows I still feel that ache, the memory of her warmth brushing past me, her breath on my throat. But I miss the weight of her words, the way she challenged me, looked straight through me. She made me see what even God couldn't. I go to temple that Friday. First time in years. I sit in the back pew, yarmulke barely resting on my scalp. The rabbi drones on, but all I hear are fragments from the desert. Wind, silence, Farah's voice echoing in my ribs. What kind of man are you when the lights are on? After service, a boy no older than 10 lights a candle beside me. His hand shakes slightly. I steady it for him. He looks up. You lost someone too? I nod. Maybe I didn't lose them. Maybe they lost me. Weeks pass. I can't get Farah out of my head. I try. I fuck other women. Shallow, plastic, beautiful. I drink 100-year-old scotch. I make deals worth more than small countries. But at night, I see her eyes. You left me in the dark. I reach out to Mercer. Any sign of her? She's a ghost, man. Whatever network she belonged to, she severed ties. No hits on facial recognition, no financial footprint. She could be in Istanbul or Bakersfield, no way to know. So she's gone. He pauses. Unless she doesn't want to be. And then one morning, it happens. A single package on my doorstep. No return address, no stamp. Hand-delivered. Inside, a silk scarf, navy blue, my daughter's. The same one she wore that morning. She poured coffee and said, "Did you sleep well, Mr. Rosenfeld?" Beneath the scarf, a note, 3 words. "I forgive you." Nothing else. But that was enough to stop my breath. That night, I sit alone in my study, lights off, jazz playing low, the scarf draped across my lap. My fingers run along its smoothness, as if it could somehow take me back, to the night I nearly kissed her, the night she nearly killed me, the night she gave me the only gift no one else in my life had ever dared to offer: the truth. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. No text. Just an image. It's her, standing in front of a mosque in Cairo, dressed in a pale green robe, eyes slightly upturned, a soft smirk on her lips. There's no message, no coordinates, no plea to follow, just proof. She's alive. And watching. Again. So why send me that picture? Is it closure or an invitation? A goodbye or a beginning? I don't know. But I do know this: I'll never look at another woman the same. Because once you've been seen by someone like Farah, really seen, every other gaze feels shallow, every other touch feels incomplete, every other truth feels soft. She broke me open, and in that breaking, she set me free. 2 months later, I'm on a plane to Cairo. I don't tell anyone, not Lieberman, not Mercer, not my assistant, not even my daughter, who now lives with her mother full-time and barely looks me in the eye during weekend brunches. I just vanish, like she did. The descent into Egypt is surreal. The city looks like it's half built and half forgotten. From above, the streets form a lattice of ancient dust and digital pulse. I step off the plane and feel the heat hit me like confession. I'm here for her. Not for justice, not even for closure. I'm here because the part of me that once thought he was God now realizes he was never anything but a man who turned the light in someone else's cage and left her in the dark. And now I'm the one stumbling through shadow. I follow the photo. The mosque in the image he sent me is real. Al Nasir Muhammad Mosque, in the heart of the citadel. It takes 3 cab rides and a bribe to a tour guide before I find the exact stone arch she stood beneath. But she's not there. Of course she's not. I walk into the mosque, remove my shoes, and stand beneath the towering columns. It's quiet. Light filters in through high, stained glass windows, casting red and blue across the sandstone floor. I sit cross-legged near the edge. And wait. A voice breaks the silence. "You shouldn't be here, David." I turn. She's standing in the archway, wrapped in a cream-colored abaya, hair covered, eyes the same smoldering dark I remember. But this time, there's softness in them. Something open. She walks toward me, barefoot. She sits across from me, knees folded neatly beneath her, like she never left my world, like we're picking up where we left off in Utah. "You got my message," she says. "I did." "You came anyway." "I had to." She tilts her head. "Why?" I don't blink. "Because I think I finally understand the question you were asking me." She waits. "You wanted to know what kind of man I am when there's no war, no uniform, no power to hide behind, when it's just me. You wanted me to stand in front of God and you naked." Her voice is a whisper. "And have you?" "I have." A pause. She nods. "So what kind of man are you, David?" I lean forward, elbows on my knees. The kind that should have died in Basra, but didn't, and now wants to earn every breath he stole back. Her lips pressed together. Then she says, "That man could be forgiven." We walk the market streets in silence. She buys figs and olives from a vendor. I buy 2 small cups of strong black coffee. We eat together on a stone bench in the shadow of the mosque. I tell her everything. About the women, the empty success, the sleepless nights, the dreams of her. She listens, always listening, like I'm a language she's already fluent in, but wants to hear again just to feel the shape of the words. Then she speaks. "After you left Utah, I thought I'd feel peace," she says, "but I didn't." "Why?" "Because you left something with me." "What?" "My humanity." That stops me. She goes on, "When I was locked in that cell, I became something else, something cruel. Revenge was my only language. But the moment I stood in your kitchen and saw the way you looked at me, not like a maid or a suspect or even a woman, but like I was a mirror, I started to crack." "You weren't the only one," I say quietly. That night, she lets me into her apartment. It's tiny, modest, but warm. Books in Farsi and English, teacups stacked beside a gas stove, a framed photo of her mother. There's only one bed. She stands in front of me and undoes her hijab, slowly. Her hair spills out, cascading over her shoulders like a confession. She lets her robe fall. Beneath it, she wears nothing but skin and silence. Scars mar her hip, a faint bruise on her ribs, a burn along her shoulder blade. She doesn't try to hide them. She turns to me. "I'm not a symbol," she says. "I'm not a martyr or a villain or a fantasy." "I know," I whisper. "I'm flesh, blood, complicated. I want all of it." We make love on her small bed beneath the hum of the ceiling fan and the moonlight spilling through the slats. Not like revenge, not like war, like redemption, like a new verse written after years of silence. Afterward, we lie tangled in sheets, her head on my chest, one leg draped over mine. "Will you stay?" she asks. "I don't want to go." "But your world is there." I shake my head. "My world is here." A pause. She smiles against my skin. "That scares me." "Me too." But in the dark, we don't need to speak anymore. For the first time, the lights are on, and neither of us is running. I don't know what love is supposed to feel like when you've built your life on control, conquest, and capital. But waking up next to her each morning in that sunlit Cairo apartment, bare walls, soft sheets, the scent of cardamom, and her sweat clinging to the air, I start to understand. It's not clean, it's not poetic, it's quiet. It's the way she snores when she's too tired to hide it, the way her fingers find mine under the table when we eat lentils and bread, the way she reads to herself in Farsi, lips moving, but no sound, like she's translating heaven into something only she can survive. Sometimes I wake in the middle of the night and watch her sleep. How could this woman, this survivor, this firestorm, ever forgive me? And then she stirs, rolls over, pulls me to her like I'm the one who's always been fragile. And I believe it. Just for a moment. But love, for people like us, doesn't stay quiet for long. One morning, as I'm returning from the market with figs and warm bread, I spot something. A man in a beige linen shirt leaning against the wall across the street. He's not smoking. He's not checking his phone. He's watching the apartment. When he sees me see him, he walks away too quickly. I drop the bag. I run. But by the time I reach the corner, he's gone. That night, I don't tell her. Instead, I hold her tighter, kiss her longer, touch her like it's the last time I'll ever be allowed. Because maybe it is. 2 days later, I get an email. No subject line, no sender. Just one line of text. You're not the only one who remembers Basra. Attached is a photo. It's us, Farah and me. On her rooftop balcony, she's laughing, barefoot, coffee cup in hand. I'm shirtless mid-sentence. It's intimate. It's recent. It's not supposed to exist. I show her. She goes very still. She says, I know that angle. There's only one spot someone could have taken that from. I wait. The next building over, abandoned, or it was. We don't talk about who it might be. We already know. She goes to her closet, pulls out a satchel, and from it a Glock I didn't know she still had. Our eyes meet. We don't say anything. That night, we break into the building. Flashlights off, shoes off, every step a whisper. 3 flights up, on the roof, we find it. A black duffel, long-range camera, external drives, a folder with printed photos. Her, me, our bed, her body beneath me, and a note. You think forgiveness is the end for people like you? Farah grips the paper so tightly it tears in her hands. Her voice trembles. She followed me, not you. This was always my consequence. No, I say, this is our consequence. She turns to me, fire in her chest. I told you I was part of something once, a machine, and machines don't forget. They don't have to forgive either, I murmur. She swallows hard. I don't want to run anymore. Then don't. David, they'll kill you. Maybe, but I'm already dead if I lose this. She presses her forehead to mine. You stupid, arrogant, beautiful man. By morning, we've wiped the drives, burned the prints, and cleared every trace of the surveillance gear. We know it's temporary. We know they'll come again, but we don't care. We have today. And for 2 people who were never supposed to live this long, today is everything. Later we make love again, not gentle, not desperate, hungry, like wolves who found fire. I grip her thighs, she rides me slow, eyes locked to mine, sweat gleaming on her collarbone, hips pulsing to a rhythm older than guilt. She leans down, her lips brushing my ear. She whispers, You feel that? Yes. That's not forgiveness. That's reclamation. And God help me, I believe her, because in that moment there is no Basra, no Cairo, no Mossad, no CIA, no God looking down from above. There is only her, and me, and the truth, raw, naked, irrevocable. Afterward, we sit on the balcony. Her head rests on my shoulder, my hand circles the scar on her rib. I think they'll try again, I say. She nods. I think we'll be ready. Another pause. Then she says something I didn't expect. I want to go back. I glance down. To where? To the States. I blink. You'd be risking everything. She looks at me. I already have. She grips my hand. But I don't want to hide. I want to build something. with you or without you, but I won't live in the shadows anymore. And just like that, the woman who once lived to destroy me now wants to start a life with me. That night, I start making calls. Private planes, clean papers, old contacts from a former life I thought I'd buried. We're going back. Not to resume the life I had, but to burn it down and build something real, together. We land in upstate New York under a different sky. The private jet touches down in a discreet airfield outside Albany. The air is crisp, September sharp. Farah wears a camel coat over her white linen dress, sunglasses large enough to cover half her face. But she doesn't lower her head. She doesn't shrink. She walks down the steps like she's always belonged here, even though we both know this land once hunted her. I don't go back to Los Angeles. Not yet. We drive north to the Catskills, a property I've owned for 10 years, never once visited, bought as an investment, hidden, quiet, remote, with just enough signal to keep us from drifting into pure myth. We settle in, and for the first time in either of our lives, we start over. The first week, we don't speak about the past. We chop wood. We cook over a fire pit. We sleep tangled in flannel in silence. I fix a leaky roof. She rewires the kitchen. We laugh. We exist. And in every small moment, wiping a dish, reading side by side, folding her scarf onto a dresser, we build something stronger than revenge. We build us. But peace never lasts forever. Not for people like us. It starts with a package. No return address, no sender. Just a plain white box placed at our door one cold morning. Inside, a single gold Star of David, bent and scorched. I know it immediately. It was mine, worn beneath my fatigues in Basra. I lost it during my final deployment, the one Farah was captured in. My blood runs cold. Farah picks it up. Her fingers tremble. There's a note underneath, typed. One sentence. We remember both of you. We sit in silence for hours after. She paces. I pour whiskey I don't drink. We've been found. Again. Do we run? I ask. She turns, fierce. No. But this, whoever this is, then let them come. I stare at her. This is not a woman broken. This is not the captive I left in that cold, dark cell. This is a reckoning. We spend the next 3 days preparing. She trains in the woods, pistol steady, aim true. I fortify the property, using old intel field tricks I thought I'd never need again. At night, we sit by the fire and talk about God, about guilt, about the thin line between justice and vengeance. Do you ever wish you'd killed me? She doesn't flinch. No, that would have made you a martyr. I wanted you to live, to carry it, to understand it. I do now. She nods. I know. The attack comes on a Wednesday, just past 2 a.m. 3 men, silent, precise, ex-military. They breach the perimeter silently, but not unseen. Farah spots them first, one crouching behind the woodshed, another near the generator, the third by the back porch. I take the lead. She takes the shot. One goes down before he even gets to the door. The second falls on a trap we buried in the snow, a spike of rusted metal through his thigh. The third, I handle him myself, up close. Rage, fists, fury. By the time it's over, my knuckles are broken, my shirt soaked in blood. Farah grabs my face. Look at me. Breathe. I do. She presses her forehead to mine. We're not them. And just like that, we're still human. We call Mercer. He handles the bodies, the cleanup, the message back to whoever sent them. It's over, or at least we bought time. 2 weeks later, I sell Rosenfeld Holdings. Every share, every asset, every lie, gone. I give the money away to children of war, to refugee centers, to rehabilitation programs for female prisoners across the Middle East. I know it's not enough, but it's something. Farah and I move again, this time by choice. New identities, new names, new lives. We don't hide anymore. We live. People asked, what happened to David Rosenfeld, the Jewish billionaire who vanished? They make up stories. That I faked my death, that I joined a cult, that I was taken by a woman and never seen again. They're all wrong and all right, because in the end, I did die, in a way. And I was taken by a woman who looked me in the eyes and held up a mirror I couldn't run from. And in her gaze, I finally saw the man I was always too cowardly to be. They say revenge is sweet, but they're wrong. Forgiveness is devastating. It strips you, humbles you, rebuilds you, and if you're lucky, if you survive it, it gives you something even better than redemption. It gives you love. True, honest, unrelenting, the kind you bleed for, the kind you never forget, the kind that doesn't ask for promises, just truth, always truth, until the very end.